Evening, everyone. It's Wednesday night around 6:30. This is your 300th video closing comments from today's market. And a reminder, please subscribe to the channel if you like the work. The market got started to the downside bright and early, and the big issue is, again, COVID-19. I've been mentioning this repeatedly. I don't know why people don't get the fact that this is still very dangerous, and the stupidity of not wearing masks and reopening things too quickly without the appropriate social distancing continues to be a problem. There are now 9 hotspots in the country, and the states of New York and Connecticut and New Jersey have re-implemented a quarantine on travelers from those 9 hotspots, and they are California, Arizona, Texas, Florida, and now include Arkansas, Tennessee, Michigan, Minneapolis, and both the Carolinas. So, again, the protests and everything were definitely well warranted, but the lack of people wearing masks was not. So the concerns here are another kind of shut-in, and of course all of the airlines and cruise lines that operate out of Florida and southern Texas, I guess Houston, and New York obviously are a huge issue here, and they got hit the worst and immediately. In the airlines, we had Delta down 230 or 8%, American Airlines down 96 cents or 7%, UAL down a little over $3, 8.4%, and Southwest Air down 2.5 or 7%. And the issue with Southwest in tonight's Barron's Online is that it's being said they may have started a fare war. I don't really think that's accurate, because Southwest Air has 2 fare sales every year, usually in the spring for summer travel, and then again in the fall for the holiday and year-end travel. I would like to mention one airline that I came across also in the same article about Southwest, Allegiant Air. They're a much smaller airline, not unaffected by the problems here, and the stock was down from 183 to touch 60, but it closed today at 107.89, down $6.61, or just 5.7%. It is at support between 100 and 104, and so that makes it particularly interesting. But what's interesting to me is that they have an all Airbus fleet, and they thought that their burn rate was going to be about 2 million a day, as opposed to the numbers 15 and 20 times that of the other big airlines. But they actually turned cash flow positive in May. So that's definitely one to look at if you want to look at an airline. The cruise lines were crushed again. Carnival 16 down 2, 11%. Royal Carib 48.25 down 6.12, also 11%. And Norwegian was the biggest loser at 15.80 down 2.23 or 12.3%. The Dow was down 710, 2.7%. NASDAQ down 222 or 2.2%, and the S&P down 81, 2.6%. The biggest losers were the transports, down 3%, 282 points, and the Russell down 49.60 or 3.6%. Very big. Advanced declines were 7-1 on the New York, 4.5-1 on the NAS, but volume was about the same as yesterday, so nothing overwhelming. All sectors of the S&P were down, utilities the least, energy, financials, and industrials the worst. In the Dow, we had the biggest contributors of Boeing down 76 Dow points, UNH down 59, Goldman Sachs down 47, Visa down 45, Apple down 44, and 3M down 40. Surprisingly, there were no triple-digit losers, although all of those were down. The big problem today looks like the oil. I have a chart here. We came down much more than I would have expected, although this morning I did say 37.75 to 38.5, I believe, as an area of support. We were down very harshly, down $2.36, but we're about unchanged tonight. The gold got up to another new high. I'll show you the chart. And we traded as high as 1796.10. We closed at 1775, which was down about $7, and tonight we are down another 4.5 at 1770. I think that we're well supported in here. I wouldn't be crazy about seeing 1750, but the one thing that I will mention is that even with the market like this, we didn't have one of these massive liquidation days. Down 77, this, I'll kind of discard because of the extreme circumstances there. But, some of these days were down 30 and 40 and 50. Today being, down $7 really doesn't disturb me. Bitcoin, on the other hand, gapped down this morning and closed at 92.85 with a 91.80 low, and that was down 3.75. The dollar was up about 0.5%, and the bonds were up about a point on the flight to safety trade. I'm going to mention Hertz yet again. The stock was up 85% during the day today. I believe it closed still up substantially higher based on the fact that Automat and two of the bigger resale auto companies were talking about buying the fleet or a big piece of the fleet from Hertz. The problem with that is that the money doesn't go to Hertz. The money goes primarily to the bondholders whose secured bonds are based on that asset. So, I can only warn you so many times. It's a losing proposition. It's not going to happen. But, people are still speculating on it. In any event, it was a tough day. Have a good evening. I'll be back first thing in the morning.